Okay. Okay, guys. Hi, this is Pan, and I am here with a couple of the TAs, Tobias and Cole. And we're going to talk about how I run the catch-up corrals. And I don't know that it's novel, but Rachel asked me to do this, so here I am. I was saying that I am a teacher. I teach children from infant all the way up to sixth grade currently in my own school that we spent 9 months remodeling, and we've had a grand opening just in September, and we had a soft opening in the summer. So throughout this whole cohort, I've been managing this whole beast. And anyway, so I bring that to the table, and that's what I think I'm going to be able to share with you guys. So Ketchup Corral, the intent behind that is since we all remember beginning. Especially beginning with launch code. And I try to teach myself code for many, many years. I would say a solid decade by myself or through other means, and it never really worked. And I even joined another boot camp that I paid for, and it didn't work. But they promised support and they promised all these things, and they had a model similar to launch code, except for they didn't execute it as well. And I also think that launch code has a little something extra that these other boot camps don't, which is sort of a care and a personal touch, which is sort of the journey I think we all go on when we're trying to learn how to do this new thing that we're all trying to do, which is nerve-wracking. So when I teach, I really look at the person. I look at the people that I'm teaching, and we all know what it's like to be the people that we're teaching. We have no idea what we're doing. And even those of us who do know what we're doing, fine, then you're better than me when I started. But for those of us who have no fucking clue, and I'm sorry for the language, but that's the way I feel. When I'm doing stuff with coding, it's like, you have no clue what's going on, but we want to put up the air that we are smart people and that we are capable, and that I'm not dumb and I can do this. And because we are their teachers, they feel the need to perform or to not perform. So Tobias was saying that he was trying to do a student-led thing, and it didn't work because nobody was responding, because nobody wants to look dumb. Nobody wants to ask the stupid question. And I tell the people who do the corrals with me, I started with this whole thing every time. There is no question too stupid. There is nothing that you can say that will make me think that you're just being lazy and you're not trying hard enough, because clearly, especially at this point, beginning of unit 2, those are not the people that we have. And even the people who didn't make it to unit 2, I know in my own personal cohort, did not make it because they were lazy. It's because life, right? So we are here, I feel, to support anyone who wants the help with that understanding, and it's psychological, right? So when I say there's no stupid questions, I mean there are no stupid questions. And I start off by comforting people with my sessions by asking the stupid questions I had. So we're starting with Java. So my stupid questions would be, what's Java? Like, why did we need this language? What is IntelliJ and why do we need that? How come we couldn't use the Microsoft format? Yeah, visual code. Like, why couldn't we use that? Why do we have to use this whole new thing? I'm sorry, just a moment. My daughter. Sorry, guys. Okay. So I encourage them to ask those questions because that's the only way we can have conversations. And I've told the people who I've coached in the corral and also my own cohort, if you don't ask the stupid question, it doesn't go away. It's like a thorn in your brain, and it will actually stop you from learning better and learning quicker and more, because you're always going to have this question in the back of your head. Well, I don't know what IntelliJ is, but I guess I'm just going to go along with it. I don't know what arrays really are or how to manage them, but I'm going to go along with it because we're on this timeline. And so the corrals are meant to be one of those times where we can all just be like, I don't know, together. And we can ask stupid questions together, and we can learn how to answer our own stupid questions together. Because if you come in as the expert and you're just like immediately answering all their questions, as soon as they have them, you've got the answer. And then it's really integrated and it's really detailed and it's really great. But it intimidates the beginning learner. And I consider myself one. Being a recent graduate, I didn't do anything in JavaScript. I've done other object-oriented stuff in the past. So that's where I sit. When you allow them to ask the stupid questions and other people hear them ask the stupid questions, then it allows them to ask their stupid questions. One of the cohorts that the collab that we ran when we joined them together, that one time that Tom and my group, we were each short one TA, so then Rachel threw us all together, is I had one of my guys be the driver. So what that means is that we're watching you work. Okay, so we pick someone and it's not us. It can't be us because we know more than they do, which means that we would skip over the stupid question opportunity. So I pick a driver, and if I get to pick it, if no one volunteers, I pick the one that I know is the most insecure, as long as I know it doesn't scare them away. So I picked this one student, and I picked him because he usually is pretty on top of stuff, but I had a sense that he was falling behind and that maybe he didn't do the reading. And I actually liked that because that meant that he's going to have all the stupid questions. And more than that, at the time, we were supposed to have the new IDEs, like it was right when Viz Studio was supposed to be installed. And I knew, and I didn't know this, but he didn't actually get it installed or do all the steps. So what we did was like, okay, you know, so-and-so, I'll call him John for lack of a better name. I'll just say, all right, you're the driver, so share your screen. And that's what he did. And then I was like, all right, open up your Visual Studio. And immediately he was like sweating, right? Because he wasn't ready. He didn't read the chapter. He wasn't ready. But what that offered him, as long as he can emotionally stand being embarrassed like that. And I kept saying, it's okay. It's all right. He goes, I didn't read the chapter. Sorry. And he starts giggling like they do when little kids don't know what's going on. They giggle. And so you're just kind of like, it's okay. It's fine. We're all here to learn together. So some of us know what's going on. So let's help you out. And so we literally helped him install Viz Code through the terminal. And it was something like that. It was like something through the terminal, but then he had an issue. He didn't have a certain package of something he needed. And then I was able to prompt the group, like, okay, what does John need right now? What's happening right now? And somebody spoke up and said, wait, do you have Node installed? And he's like, I don't know. How do I check? And then another person said, I think you type in this, like you type in this to check. And then somebody goes, no, you have to have the tilde before that or the dash before that. And then he does it and it works. All right, it works. And in that moment, you can feel the victory as a group. I could have just told John, okay, first of all, we need to check if you have Node.js installed. If you don't have it installed, this is what you type. Go ahead and type this in. Yep. All right. You see that? Okay. Now you've got it installed. And now you get to open this. But you've robbed everyone in the room of the opportunity to learn from each other and just basically be out there and like bird out of the nest. I'm here though, as a security blanket, right? So I'm sitting there listening. And if nobody said, do you have Node.js installed? Then I could point them to that, right? So I'm saying, did you install Node.js? And then he might say, I don't know. And then I get to say, who knows how to help him install Node.js? How do we check? And that gives them the opportunity to draw the bridges in their own mind, because this is a bridge that I may already have, and I don't need reinforcement for myself. I need them to reinforce it. And I don't know who said it, but it's all based on the idea that if you know it, you can speak about it. And if you can't speak about it, then you don't know it, right? So what we're trying to do in this fast-paced learning environment is to get them to talk sooner and faster. And even if what they say is completely idiotic to them, we go, that was a great, stupid question. I really liked that. And in my corrals, our sessions, I feel, are successful because they can just come out and be like, I don't know. I didn't read the chapter. I'll be honest. I didn't read it. I couldn't read it live, and I just didn't do it. So what do I do next? And I'll say, let's try this. Like I'll pose the question. So this is a different, pause. This is a different topic. So then if you're asking them to do something like working with arrays, we'll keep it simple. And they don't know what an array is. They don't know how to manipulate it. They don't get it. And I'll say, well, let's do this exercise or this studio that involves arrays. And they're like sitting there with a blank page and they're doing nothing and they're responding to nothing because they're like seriously under-equipped. They don't know what to do, but they have read something, right? So then I ask them, so what are arrays? Like, tell me what they are. And they'll tell me some sort of like, it's like a bunch of things under one variable. And I can at that point be more hands-on and say, absolutely correct. Arrays is a way of listing out similar objects and, and organizing that information. But then we're not, that is allowing them to be stupid and be like, it's okay. I accept you for where you are and accept you for what you are. And let's keep going. Let's not spin about how you should have read the chapter, and let's not spin about how you should have gotten your work done. So, because nobody needs to hear that in this group, right? So that's really all I do. That's it. That's all I do. And I make sure that I interfere less. That's one of the things that I do here with my teachers. I train them a lot on how to interfere less, and don't interfere with learning. Your talking interferes with learning at times, right? Because the talking that Tom does during the teaching period, that's fine. But when we're doing studios, I feel our position is to talk less, listen more, and guide and facilitate, right? And that's not always possible, especially if everybody's learning all new concepts, then a more hands-on leadership approach makes sense, right? My co-TA is really great about that. He'll be like, all right, what we're going to do is we're going to do this together, and I'm just going to code in front of you, and I'll ask a few questions as I go along, but I'm basically providing all of the answers. Whereas maybe after this week, and certainly after this session, I'm going to do a catch-up corral. I'm going to go back and I'm going to warm the room up by asking stupid questions. I've been writing them down. I've read all the JavaScript chapters, and I'm like, well, here's my stupid question, because by the end of my reading, here's what I still don't understand. And I wrote it all down, and I'm going to warm the room up by saying, who's got a dumb question? Because I do. And hopefully that'll allow them to warm up. So if you guys are trying to do a student-led thing and you're finding that they're not saying enough, then one strategy you could take is to show your belly a little bit and just be like, I remember when I felt stupid and I thought this, and I do that a lot. I'm like, I didn't understand classes for a really long time. And it's arguable that I do anyway, but I understand it more than I did. And I remember the dumb questions I had about it. Like, why are we doing this? Why? And then how do I get that information out of a class again? And just being vulnerable, just being like, I'm not perfect. I let my cohort team know, it's like, I'm not your expert. If you're looking for an expert, you don't have it in me, but what you have in me is someone who's maybe just a step ahead of you or walking right next to you. And I might have just a few more tools in my bag than you do. And I'm here to not give you my tool, but I'm here to show you how I use my tool. And then that way you can develop your own. So that's it. That's the spiel. Interfere less, allow more to come through. So at this point, I'm going to let Toby or Cole ask any questions about the spiel. So you guys have any thoughts or questions about it?
So what usually like kills me, like my students absolutely know I'm not that much better than them. If anything, I like during like the big lecture, I'll usually ask questions that are just, I know the answer to, but I know that'll like trigger some sort of conversation because I feel like maybe, like Tom has said something and then, he hasn't elaborated on a part that I feel like, if you're new to it, you probably don't get it. So I've been good about that of like, I don't mind looking foolish in order to help people learn.
Mm-hmm.
But what usually kind of like gets to the group, we have a very diverse group of like a third are avid coders, two of which like have been coding for a job. Then a third of them are newbies that, range from like a little bit, don't understand like, a few concepts to barely get any of it. And then the other third is zero talking throughout the entire night. And like trying to figure out a balance of, like the people that know like the code, they don't want to say anything because they feel like they're going to stifle everyone else's learning by saying anything. Then there's the noobs that are afraid. And especially when, someone comes in with an answer like, oh, why don't you have this try catch formula that I learned in college? And like, then like the noobs get intimidated. And then there's, like a few of them that are just like, I will ask them direct questions or say, hey, are you here? And I will get nothing.
Right.
So balancing all that has been tough.
Yeah, and I'm in my cohorts, not, maybe not a third as much, certainly, but we do have some that, like, one guy's going through a CS degree, he's about to finish at MU. So he's super experienced. And then there's another one who, I don't remember her background, but she seems to pick up on everything immediately. Like, she never seems to struggle. And even as TA is grading her work, it's always on point. And it's like, Jesus, like, how did you? And she says, I've never really done coding before, was her first day. And I'm like, where does your genius come from? I would like to know, because she just gets it. She never has a problem with doing her work. And then I have the group that's just like, just really trying. They're putting all their into it, but they still like struggle with basic concepts, which is what inspired me to do the catch up. Because I was like a third of the way through unit 1, they were still like not understanding that they should declare, when they should declare new variables or not. And I'm like, okay, let's go back and talk about that a little bit. You should be able to pull that tool out when you feel that you need, and you should be able to recognize those moments. So, I mean, I don't know if you're looking for suggestions, but one of the things that we do, I will give them to you anyway. One of the things that I do is, when I have such a diverse talent pool, I enable the ones who are the most capable to be the leaders. And to guide. And if they don't know how to do that, because they're not, their brains aren't wired that way, then you model what that looks like for them, right? So as a large group, you're going to be like, all right, I got those of you who know the answers. I got those of you who maybe want to know the answers, but don't quite. All right. So that's where the driver, model comes in. So you're going to model for them this one time. You're going to say, person A who does not know what they're doing and probably didn't get to do the reading this week, you're the driver. We're going to watch you do this. And then I get those, I got one that screams when I pick her, but I pick them. And then sometimes I'll flip it and I'll say, all right, person B who knows exactly what they're doing and is really on point, what they probably aren't good at doing? Explaining to other people and getting them to understand it. So what you can say is, you drive, and this is what you're going to do. Like, do this, whatever task. And I want everyone else to ask questions. And then I also encourage myself and anyone else who's driving to do what I call sports casting. And sports casting is just like what it sounds. You say everything that you're doing. Okay. So if you have an advanced person who's driving and everyone's looking at the screen and he's just going click, 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 and stuff is happening, you need to be like, excuse me, John, you need to slow down for a minute. Can you tell us what you're doing? And he'll probably go, or she will probably go, I guess I'm like, right? They won't be able to articulate what's going on. They'll say something and maybe you'll know that everyone else in the room didn't understand what he said. Then you can stop it right there. You can say, hey, does anybody understand what John just said? And don't be afraid of silence. Waiting for an answer, right? Because they're waiting for you to jump in. They're waiting for you to go ahead and answer, because they're, they have sort of a lazy student brain on and they don't want to answer. So you're just be like, I can wait. And it can be uncomfortable, but it's okay. Because what do you got? I mean, what do you got to lose, right? You want to hear from them. So you're getting uncomfortable because it's taking too long for them to answer. And be like, we can wait. There's no, I mean, because if you don't understand what he said, if the answer is no, I don't understand what he said, then, if they do understand, they will say yes. If they don't answer at all, it means it's no. So it's like, you guys have to answer your questions. You ask your questions. You have to ask them. I don't understand any of it. That's what I get sometimes. I don't understand any of this. All right, well, let's go back one step. Do you understand that? Do you understand why we have to import this file? Nope. I have no idea. By that time, you probably have weeded out the people who are pissed that they don't understand. So they'll be more vocal, right? Nope, don't know. Okay, let's go back one more. Go back one more, go back one more. And we're the beginning of a new unit. I fully expect that these people should be able to answer the question, what is Java and why do we learn it? What is it utilized for? And if they can't, then I'm like, let's Google it. Because I'm not going to answer that for you. You should at least know what this is for, right? And then I'll ask the question. Well, they'll ask the question, what's IntelliJ? Or I might prompt that if I feel like the conversation needs to go there. Because if you didn't know what JavaScript is, then you probably can't tell me what IntelliJ is. Like, tell me.
No.
It's the thing that we're using. Like, yeah, no, that's not it. You know, but it is, the IDE platform we're using, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And why is this the IED we're using over the other one? Right. And that was in the reading. And if they didn't get it from there, then, we coach them through it. Now that's just, fluffy stuff. The technical stuff is where we really want them to get practiced at doing that. But they have to get out of their shells and talk, or two people dominate the conversation. And then I get to say, hey, when my cohort people come to me and I'm working with them one-on-one, and they're like, I'm going to ask a stupid question, and I'm like, John, you should ask that stupid question when everybody else is in the room, because you're not the only one who had it. So ask the stupid question next time. And then they do. The next time they're like, okay, I have a stupid question. And they're always like, and I was like this too, am. Guys, I'm really sorry. I'm taking everybody's time, but I have this really stupid question and I'm just going to ask it. I'm going to ask it. And then the TA or whoever answers it, and they still don't get it. I don't understand, but go on. It's fine. Go on. Don't waste any more time on me. And I spent a lot of time in both my cohort and the Corral saying, we're not wasting our time. Like, you're doing what we need to do right now. Because you either understand it, but can't explain it, or you don't understand it and can't explain it. Either way, this is a valid exercise, right? What about you, Cole? Do you have any thoughts or feedback about it? I've got to plug in.
we're in the same cohort, so it's a lot. He explained it pretty well.
Oh, great. Okay.
I wish I would have heard your pep talk about being vulnerable though, and not having to be perfect, because that really kind of started me off for like the first month and a half in a very anxiety filled place.
Yeah.
I kind of felt like
And me too, right? Right. Because I'm like, oh my God, because my TAs, when I was a student, were awesome. Like, John was awesome. There was nothing he couldn't answer. No problem. He was my Yoda, man. He couldn't do anything. There's nothing I could have thrown at him. And I messed up GitHub really bad. Crossed lines, branches everywhere. And he helped me find out. He just knew. And I'm like, oh my God, you're like amazing. Like, don't die, Yoda. And I was like, I have to be Yoda for these people. And that sucks because I'm really bad. I'm not a Yoda at all. So I just went and I just got into a Zen place about it. And I was just like, I'm not Yoda, you guys. I'm sorry, but that's not who you got. But I am a really good cheerleader and I kind of know where you're going with this. So let's go together. And I ask the stupid questions because they are so close to the surface of my reality. I don't have to dig down to find them. Whereas if you're more experienced, like those of us who are more experienced and can code, and Lee's and Tom and these people who are just really good at it already, you might have forgotten the dumb questions you had. So even if I think as TAs, if we're not secure, that's just as valuable, if not useful, but it's valuable that we feel that way, especially when we're helping the people right behind us. So I'm open to more thoughts and reflections and questions like, what do we do if, but for the rest of this time, I'd really like to maybe take you guys on a test run of different scenarios. So I'm going to ask, Tobias, I'm going to make you pretend like you don't know anything.
Oh,
okay?
We're there.
So then, okay, you're my Corral group, or you're my cohort group. I'm going to say, who wants to drive? Who wants to be my driver today?
Cole does.
No, Tobias, I'm going to shoot. Yeah, if you volunteer someone, you get selected. So, so Tobias, I would like for you to share your screen with everyone, please. And we're going to share your screen and we're going to look up. Yeah, do it for realsies. Can I?
No, it's disabled.
Huh?
You've disabled.
I can't deal with that. Seriously, hold on. I have tried to undisable that in my room forever. So what I have to do, and this is awesome for me to have to show everyone. I have to make you a host because that's the only way I can figure out how to do it. Make a host. I'm making you a host because that's the only way I can let you share. And that's weird. Okay. All right. Awesome. Everyone else, I want you to go back into your textbooks and we are going to today dive into You know, I would know what I was going to say at this point. I
Mm.
don't know yet, so I'm going to look into it. Data types. Okay. All right. I think this is good. I think this is good. Let's do exercise 2.4, the data types exercise. Or is that not hard enough? Is that not hard enough?
Oh, I can be as dumb as you want me to be. There is no level in which I would not sink.
Yeah, well, the circle, I'm looking at the studio. Hold on a second. Let's do chapter 3. Yeah, we got hash maps in here. Yeah, this is good. Let's go to 3.7. Okay, everyone, we're gonna go with 3.7. So I want you to be looking at 3.7 and we're gonna do this together. And remember that no question is too stupid. I want to hear all the dumb questions. And if you don't ask any, I will call on you. I will make you known, or I will make you explain, and then we'll see. Right. So, yeah, on this, it says, we're going to do some array practice. So create and initialize an array with the following values on a single line. 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. Okay. So how would you start? So I need you to sportscast.
2, 3, 5, and 8. So I have an array.
Okay.
I have all the numbers in the array.
Did you do all of this, the public class and that kind of thing? Did you do all that?
Yeah, I knew we needed a new class, so like to work on. So I did start that.
Okay. I am for some reason, sorry guys, I'm pausing this because I am for some reason not logged into the launch code account. So it's saying I have 9 minutes left. So if that happens, I'll hop
worries.
back in the room. Because I must be on my other account. Apologies. Sorry. Okay. So you did all that? You did public class data types? You did that? Okay. What is that?
This is I put together a class because it like I hit the new and then it told me I wanted a class, and so I put a class together.
Oh, okay. So this is some sort of template that you could basically like a template that you could pull out when you wanted to create a new class.
I guess.
Yeah. How did you know that you wanted to do that? Like, why didn't you just go ahead and start declaring an array?
It's something we've done with everything. You know, I didn't want to make an array inside of something else that I've made. So I decided, since we've done it for everything else, that's what I'd do.
Okay. And then Cole might say, I don't get it. I don't get what's happening right now.
I don't get what's happening right now.
Oh, you don't, Cole?
I don't.
So we're doing exercise 3.7, and it says here to initialize an array with the following values. And what do you mean by you don't get it? Do you mean that you don't understand why he put it in a class?
Yeah, like what's all that class stuff? I remember arrays in JavaScript when we did that, but like, why are we? I don't know.
What do you think, Cole? Do you think you have an answer for him? Why did you put it in a class and not just say array, num equals?
Well, I knew it had to go inside of the brackets. And since like I wanted, I knew that we needed the new class, so I made the class. And then
How did you know that?
Because that's like everything we've done. We started by creating a new class. So
Everything you've done from
like all like in the first circle thing.
In the previous exercises.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you do that instead of assigning it to a variable like we did in JavaScript?
Right. Yeah. So Cole, pretend Cole, did you do the exercises from the other chapters?
I'm a little bit behind.
Okay. Yeah, that's all right. But that's where he got it from. Right. That's why he didn't just declare an array like we did in JavaScript, because the previous exercises showed us that we want to put things in JavaScript into classes, because Java into classes, because Java is complete my sentence. Can you complete my sentence?
Language.
It is an object
Object
oriented
oriented.
language. Yeah. So objects, everything has to be an object. So then putting them in classes makes sense now, right?
Yes.
So, yeah. So excellent, Cole. Thanks for sharing with us that you didn't get a chance to read. And so we'll be able to answer more questions if you ask them. Okay, because this might be a little bit more than what you understand, having not done the previous exercises, which I'm more than happy to help you with at another time if you want, together, so that you can get caught up. Okay.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
Yeah.
it.
All right. All right. So the next part is loop through the array and print out each value, then modify the loop to only print the odd numbers. So that's obviously 2 steps. And I want Cole to be the navigator. So how would you loop through an array? Do you remember that from your JavaScript study?
I would probably use a for loop.
Okay. Tell Tobias what to type.
For let I equals 0, semicolon, your array dot length greater than 0. Sorry. Semicolon, I plus plus.
And
I
that's
think
it.
this needs to be inside of a parentheses, right?
Oh yeah, you're right. And 0 should be I.
0 should be I.
Is it?
Like here, this should be I.
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. Because since we defined it as 0, yeah. I think that's right.
Then
But
And
it should be the other way, right? Less than. Because if it's greater than, then the moment we make an array, as long as it's bigger than 0, then it's gonna stop instantly.
good call. Yeah, good call. I think we need some squiggly braces
Where?
That's right.
Tell him where.
after the parentheses.
And what do we call that? What are those squiggly braces? What do we call them?
Brackets.
Yeah, but what's their function? It's a code
Block.
block, right? Creates that block. Right. Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to pause this right here. Let's come back to being
Yeah,
TS.
you're good.
So yeah, we have 3 minutes before I'm going to get
Hurts
kicked
my
out.
soul a little bit as
Yeah,
as fun
I'm
as that
gonna-
was.
Yeah. So I have 3 minutes, and then if you guys want to come back, we can. I can restart the session and do a new recording. But see what happened there, right?
Hmm.
That if I were to just keep that going, I'm talking a lot less, right? I talked a
Mhm.
lot just to begin with, just to get everybody around the frame of mind of like what we have permission to ask, what we have permission to say, and what we are willing to accept. Yeah, pretend Cole didn't do the reading, which is why he had no idea what's the classes, what's that about? He didn't do it. So he didn't know. And I invited the opportunity for him to him admit that and be okay. It's like, it's all right. It's cool. Let's keep going though. And I'm here to offer help so you can catch up with that little bit. But just so you know, the part you didn't do right now, what's important about that is that you didn't understand the classes. And that's why I pointed that out. Right.
We
So
definitely
as-
have a couple of people that I think probably
Huh?
don't. We definitely have a couple of people I think that don't participate when they don't read. I mean, that's their big.
Yeah, but that's a loss value time for them, right? Because they're
Yeah,
still
no,
in class and it's like, well, what are you here for if you're not going to talk? You have to
Yeah.
talk. You have to tell us what you don't know so we can go from there. Because otherwise you're sort of listening to, someone who knows a lot, just go on and you're just hopelessly behind and you just can't even keep up with the language of what's happening right now. So,
One
yeah,
thing
but-
I wanted to get to before the 2 minutes is up.
yeah,
So I think the biggest struggle for me, like with the whole overarching thing, like if everyone was like on the same page, I feel like I would be fine with like going over the basics and doing that whole process. But there's a good chunk of it that I feel like I'm wasting the people's time that are like really good, that like you were saying, being able to explain it as well. And I
yeah.
feel like there's the people that are at that level can. And
So make them.
I
So
mean,
make them. I
okay.
mean, what are they good for? Look, they're here together, and just because you are know-it-all and you know everything, doesn't mean that you're not supposed to be here, because you are here. You are
Okay.
here for a reason, and we're all here to help each other. And if you don't agree with that attitude, then good luck to you in the future. Look, just because you know everything and you don't want to seem like a know-it-all, I give you permission to be the know-it-all. You
So
do
let
it.
them answer all the questions.
No, don't let them
Or,
answer
I
all
mean,
the
not all,
questions.
but yeah.
You tell them they're the leader. You're like, you're a TA now. You're the TA, and your job is to guide understanding for this person and break
Okay.
them off into a breakout room, and then let them lead. Give them the power to do it. And it's like, don't answer every question for them. Help them understand. And then check back in with them. You're like, hey, how's it going? Hey, person who doesn't understand, do you understand what's happening right now? Like, have you been following? And they'll either say, yeah, or they'll say, yeah, it's been great. And if they go, yeah, then you step in like I did. And you say, why do we need the brackets? Why do we need the class? Tell me why, because obviously the leader I chose for you didn't do a good job explaining. And I'm going to show you, leader, how to explain. And I'm going to show you, person who doesn't understand, how to understand. So you're participating by modeling. But if they are so good that they know all the answers, then make them the leader. And if you don't need them in your room, break them off with 2 other people who don't know.
Okay.
Right?